Welcome back to another video. So in this week's video, I'm going to start doing the in-depth series of my my DVD collection. I'm going to try to do like a shelf per week. So let's get right into this. So this week's video, I'm going to show you my Marvel DVD collection, and I'm going to try to give you some of my thoughts on some of these movies as I go through them. So here we go. Let's start off with right here. So we have the Death of the Incredible Hulk. Man, sorry about the clearing my throat thing. I don't know, I might have a little bit of a cold going on again. The Death of the Incredible Hulk. So this is like from the 80s TV show. I've only seen a couple of these episodes. I've always wanted to check out the show. But yeah. There's that. I think I had the VHS tapes at one point. I know I had a couple of episodes there on DVD, but I don't on VHS, DVD. Maybe someday I'll get the complete series. Next up we have The Hulk, 2003. And these might be a little out of order because I kind of have my own Marvel order. We have The Incredible Hulk, 2008. Originally, this was supposed to be a sequel to the 2003 one, but I guess they decided not to make it a sequel. Pretty good. I don't know. Next up, we have Iron Man, the start of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Marvel pretty much was one of the first movies that started their own universe. Now it's a thing. It's now every movie franchise has a thing. Of course, we have Tony Stark. I'm a big fan. I like the Robert Downey Jr., how he had a redemption arc, if you know his story, how he had problems, and pretty much he redeemed himself with the Iron Man movie. He's one of those good actors. I would say that without Robert Downey Jr. there would be no Marvel Cinematic Universe. I just think he's that one actor that just carried the whole entire series. I do think that some of the other actors were pretty good too, but I think he's that. He's the one guy that I think about the most when I hear the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Pretty much. His nickname, he pretty much is the GOAT of Marvel. So there's that. We have Thor. Of course, the Phase 1 movies of Marvel weren't that good. It took them a little while to kind of figure out what they were doing with the story. But over time, it got better. Dark World. I might be missing some movies in my collection because I don't have some of the newer ones. I've seen them. I have Disney Plus. I've seen them. I just don't have them on DVD yet. Maybe someday I'll get them. The First Avenger. Winter Soldier. Kind of one of my favorite movies. I like this movie. We have Captain America, the Civil War. We have Avengers, the first one. Avengers, Age of Ultron. Infinity War. I might try to rush through this just a little bit because I don't know how far my camera can record videos for. Endgame. One of my favorite movies. It really was once in a lifetime. I would say that this is the closest thing we had to a Lord of the Rings in the years 2010s. It was just really great storytelling. Guardians of the Galaxy. Of course, we have Batista, which I'm going to say this that if you're a WWE fan, Batista is probably one of the greatest actors that I would say he's probably the most successful wrestler turned actor, because a lot of the other wrestlers like John Cena and The Rock go for the big blockbuster movies, but Batista doesn't really care about the big roles. He actually wants to learn the craft of acting, and I think I appreciate that kind of a lot. Batista is a very underrated WWE wrestler. I'll just say that. I think he doesn't get enough credit. Of course, we have Spider-Man. Now, in my opinion, I think out of all the Spider-Man movies, this was my favorite. Now, I'm not a big fan of Tobey Maguire. I haven't seen a lot of his movies. But what I liked about the Spider-Man trilogy is that a lot of today's movies, they focus on the big, like, action scenes. But this Spider-Man, it focused a lot more on, like, character. Focus on the character development and all that. And I think that's pretty cool. You know, it's the type of movie that, like, I feel like you don't have to be a superhero fan to be a fan of this movie, because it focuses, like, on the story so much, like, and it has a little bit of comedy, and it's like, it's kind of made for, like, everyone, I feel like, which I've always would love to have seen what Sony could have done with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think Sony does a good job at telling stories with their movies. They don't focus so much on the big action stuff. Their movies kind of feel like somewhat real and authentic. I don't know. Spider-Man 2. Of course, I remember when the first 3 Spider-Man movies came out. And there was a lot of hype back then. Now every year there's like a Marvel movie, so I don't feel like we get time to really like digest stuff. Amazing Spider-Man. It wasn't a bad movie. Amazing Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man Homecoming. Again, a lot of these movies, though, the Spider-Man movies are made by Sony, and like I said, I think Sony just does great at making movies. If the Marvel Cinematic Universe ever got, like, rebooted or remade, I would love to see, like, Sony do it, like, you know? No Way Home. Black Panther. I only have the first one. It's one of my favorite movies, too. I really love the Black Panther. Of course, Chadwick Boseman is... Did I pronounce that right? I think I did. He's no longer with us. Yeah, I was very, like, shocked when that happened, when he passed away. This was, like, a very good movie. So was the second one. Doctor Strange. First one's pretty good. The second one kind of was, like, eh. Of course, we have Captain Marvel. We have Venom. Again, the Venom movies were good. They were made by Sony. Let There Be Carnage. I don't have the third one yet, maybe, but I've seen the third one, though. Of course, we have Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This show is okay. It's not really the best thing that Marvel has produced, but it's not the worst either. I think if you're a fan of Star Trek, you would love this show. It kind of has like a Star Trek vibe to it. Of course, I've only seen a couple episodes of Star Trek, but it kind of gives me that vibe. Especially in the later seasons. So I did take a risk with this, because over here in America, I think they stopped releasing the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I took a risk when I bought this. It does play on, like, US DVD players, so that's kind of good. But that's why it has that little symbol in the corner. And we have Agent Carter. The first season was pretty good. I don't really remember much about the second season. Of course, we have Netflix, the Daredevil series. I love the Daredevil series. It's really cool. We also have Jessica Jones. That was like a good television time. Of course, sometimes there's moments where these shows drag on just a little bit, but I really loved these shows. Watched them back in the day. They weren't necessarily that bad. The only, like I've said, I just don't like how sometimes the pacing was a little bit slow. Of course, we have Blade. Now, I did not know this was like a Marvel movie when I got it. The reason I got this is because I went on this quest to get like all the movies with wrestlers in them. And Triple H was like in the third one. And I wanted to like see this. But it's pretty cool. course, we have Daredevil, the original Daredevil, and we have Elektra. We have one of the Punisher movies. Like I said, I might be missing some DVDs. But Punisher Warzone. We have Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage. That wasn't a bad movie. I thought it was pretty good. Also, Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. I heard a rumor, but I don't know if it's true, that he might be coming back to reprise his role in some way. I don't know though. That's been like, there's always rumors like that online. There's the X-Men movie. The X-Men franchise is also pretty good. The Last Stand. X-Men Origins, Wolverine. Of course, sometimes the X-Men timeline can get confusing. There's the Wolverine. X-Men First Class. Days of Future Past. Apocalypse. In my opinion, this was unnecessary. I feel like Apocalypse should have been like the end. I feel like this was like unnecessary. I don't think they had to make this. It wasn't bad, but just like, I don't know. Sometimes I think Marvel does do that too, where they make movies that aren't really necessary to make. I feel like that's the way Hollywood is a lot now. They like release movies that don't really need to be made. They just do it so they can get the money. Logan, this is a pretty good movie. Did this movie win a reward? I don't know. It should have if it didn't. Pretty good movie. Of course, we thought that was going to be his last movie, but it's not. I think he's going to keep making movies as long as they pay him. We have Deadpool. Deadpool 2. I've seen the third one. I don't have it. I'm very excited to see what like Deadpool's going to do in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm looking forward to the next Avengers movie. Can't wait to kind of see like Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. We have The Gifted. I only have the first season. I don't have the second season. I think the show had potential, but I don't really know. Had potential, I think, to be a good show. I have Fantastic Four, which is currently July that I'm filming this. The actor that played Doctor Doom in this one just passed away. I think he just passed away 2 days ago. Of course, there's the new Fantastic Four movie. Again, it's July. I don't think that movie has gotten released yet. I don't know. By the time this comes out, I might have seen it. I don't know. Now, this movie was okay. Well, not really okay. Let me, fix what I just said. The first hour of this movie was good. But then, once they get their powers, it kind of goes downhill. I think they had good actors in this movie. It just felt rushed. The second last hour a bit. And I guess that's because, the directors were, disagreeing. Of course, it's made by Fox, and I think Fox kind of, was going downhill towards their final years before Disney purchased them. Next up, we have Spider-Man. Now, this is a movie that, I didn't see right away, but, it's actually pretty good. I can't wait to see the next one. Pretty cool. This movie actually gave me, that old Spider-Man vibe. Yeah. And that is my Marvel DVD collection. And this is the first of many in-depth series of my entire DVD collection. So, subscribe, comment, and for more videos. More videos are coming. I think I'm going to be posting this every Thursday at around 10 a.m.-ish. So, that's when you can check out more of this series. So, subscribe, comment, leave a like, turn on the notifications, do all that fun stuff. See you in the next one.